Is product management going to die because of AI?
Wow. the question we see on LinkedIn every day.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm a big fan of hybrid roles. So product engineer or like design engineer, that kind of hybrid role. I think it's very valuable. And I just had this spark of an idea, like in the movies. I didn't believe in this, but I had like a spark of what if we did that?
So Zapier and Adan, they had, they connected the tools, and you're trying to build like the missing features within
the tool.
Yeah,
exactly.
Bonjour and welcome to Le French Product. Today's guest is Robin Labrot. He started out at Lemlist, a sales automation platform that allows teams to personalize their outreach and focus on deliverability. He went from first PM to head of product. Robin helped them scale from $4 to $25 million annual recurring revenue. After 3 years blitzscaling this future unicorn, Robin decided to launch his own venture called ListenUp, an AI-driven Notion plugin that centralizes all of your customer feedback and makes it actionable in seconds. And he was accelerated by the Founders Program at Station F, the world's biggest startup campus. Robin is a true full-stack founder. He codes, he designs, he builds. Let's see what he has to say. Robin, take us to the exact moment where you realized that product teams were, let's say, drowning in feedback, and what did you see that others missed?
Wow, deep question to start.
Yeah,
I think, first, a lot of product teams are actually not drawing in feedback. That's the first thing. Like, if you're doing enterprise sales, for instance, you have a few customers, you have a few feedback, right? Or like when you have a lot of feedbacks, but it's actually not used, or you don't even know, like it's unknown unknowns, because first you have no way to actually get this feedback collected somewhere. And second, you might not even know, like sometimes where this feedback is. So often it's very scattered across multiple tools. So like the support tool, or even the CRM, like the sales will put the transcription of every call they had with a prospect, or you will have the emails they've exchanged, and in there, like there are a lot of insight also that can be useful for a product team, or you might have reviews online, or you might have communities on multiple platforms, like your own, or it can be Reddit, or people are discussing on Twitter, on X, you never know. So Slacks also, a lot of Slack communities. So this is the first thing. And your question was also what I see that they don't is that I really believe that most product research as of today can be done by just collecting this feedback. Basically I see it as two lines. There is the first one, which is you kind of know what you want to do, but you want to get into details. You don't have enough context or details to actually do something about it. And in that case, I think user interviews are just like what I like to call outbound type of research, or user interviews, even forums, surveys. That kind of work is really valuable because you have like specific hypothesis that you want to go and test, and with a few insights already, you have something to move forward. So most product team, I guess, fall into this category. But then I feel like there is the second layer that's often missed, which is actually all the inbound feedback. So stuff that comes at you, or you are not actively collecting. And this is where like a lot of product team struggle, because they either don't do it, they don't have the right system, because it's a lot of effort to actually find those sources, continuously collect everything, have something that can tell you what are like the signals you can see, that the trends, and make this as actionable. And this second layer to me is as important, because it gives you like the wide view, the 360 view of, okay, what do they think? And that gives you a lot of context, in addition to the hypothesis you have on the stuff you already know. Actually, it's a kind of a loop, because this wide understanding will actually give you also hypothesis you want to test. So I feel like with those two layers, you're on a very good balance of product discovery. You don't do too much if you have the system in place, actually, for the layer of inbound feedback. And then few times, like a month, or when you're working on something specific, you want to test out those hypotheses, and you do a few user interview with both. I think like you already have 20% of effort for 80% of benefits. And it's, to me, not worth it for most product team to go above, because then like the return of investment of the time and effort you're going to put into the research is not as interesting as it is for the rest, right? So that's my opinion.
Yeah, true. So in terms of background, so you went from Lemlist to being an AI founder. So first thing, what part of let's say Lemlist's bootstrapping growth playbook still guides you today?
I got this question asked. This is not the first time I heard this question. So it's really hard to pinpoint because Lemlist is kind of a very unique company where stars align for some reason. But I think it's a combination of it's the basic stuff, to be honest. It's like a product that's truly unique in the value proposition. So the first version of Lemlist, to put everything in context, was in a market where like a lot of tools already exist. For those who don't know Lemlist, it's like a outreach tool, email outreach tool for salespeople or recruiters or even founders. And there were like a lot of existing tools in this market, but Guillaume brought like a unique value proposition, which is like personalized email. So you get like a custom image in your emails where like the name on the image is going to be dynamic depending on the lead. And that was first something he learned when he did outreach himself before the agency, and he see that it was working. So he just created a product around something he saw working in the space. Yeah. And that was in itself very valuable to people, even though the product was like miles away from the competition in terms of table stake features, right? But that was enough. And second one was that the go-to-market strategy was also, he had like a unique insight on it, which was that he started doing a lot of personal brand, a lot of LinkedIn, being very transparent, very honest. And that worked really well because at that time, like it was not widespread to post on LinkedIn the way we do today, and you see a lot of people doing, right? So it was like insecure the go-to-market channel, which is always good. That's the first thing. And also, like, he brought real value to people because at the time, same, like, if you look online for cold email templates, you would find like HubSpot articles that were like giving you the worst template ever that everyone used. And he just did something better because he was posting actual campaign he used that worked with numbers to back it off. So that was very, very valuable for a lot of people. So yeah, I think it's always that you have a unique insight on the product side and you build a good product, and you have a unique insight on the go-to-market side of things, and you use it too. So this combination works really well. That's at least in my opinion. And then also it's just, let's say, meta stuff, like just a very good sense of execution, speed to market, speed in everything, and just the culture that was built around this stayed for a long time. Since we were like bootstrap, we were not hiring a lot at one very specific moment. So it was long and slow for quite a time. And that helped us like maintain an actual strong culture around this, where the company was built on. So yeah. So
that's one thing. Actually, that bootstrap culture. What's your biggest mindset shift leaving a $25 million, ARR rocket, let's say, to a $0 MRR idea?
Yes. So multiple factors, as always. And the first one would be that I was already starting to see a lot of value on ListenUp, the product I'm building today. I was currently realizing how much of an opportunity it could be, and it just couldn't get out of my head. So I was way too excited by the idea and actually wanted to give it a try. And so that was a very, very strong feeling that I had, even though I love what I did at Lemlist at the time. Second one was the company was starting to go from startups to scale up. And I'm going to say something weird, but I feel like the most valuable lessons for me, who was planning at one point to launch my own product, were in the 0 to 1, so startup stage. And we were going into the 0 to 10, sorry, and to the 10 to 100, I feel like it was a lot of scale up things. So you set up structure, you set up process, you set up your hiring specialists. And this was a very different period that needed very different stuff to work. And I didn't want it to get biased by this, because then I would thought this is what you need to do to success. And it's not the case. Like at each stage of a company life cycle, you have different needs. So that's also one reason. I felt like I had learned everything I had to learn about the 0 to 1 stage, which to me was the most valuable according to my own goals. So that was the second thing. And the moment I flipped was, I don't remember who said this, but I think it was Alex Hormozy who said, like, if you had a hard decision like this to take in your life, you just project yourself at 80 years old. And so this Cedric, 80 years old, looking at Cedric as of today, what would you think? Like, if you had take this decision or you didn't take this decision? And you know instantly which decision you will regret a lot. So this is a good framing. And once I did this exercise mentally, I figured like, okay, I need to give it a try. I would regret my whole life if I don't. And also there is a timing component in building companies. So this is also, I felt like the opportunity could slip away at any point. So yeah, it was very important to do it now. I would even like to do it earlier, but yeah, that takes time.
So I personally went on the opposite path. Okay. So I don't find this weird, because I personally wanted to be the kind of person to really work with, like those dynamic environments. But then I found that in reality, I was way better at working with bigger companies and having like the whole company shift. But it's sometimes pretty frustrating in terms of speed. But at the same time, you have things that you're good at and that you can get better at, but there's some things that you're naturally good at. And we'll see later on that this is something that happens with you. Like, you like to launch things, you like to move fast, and that's also something that you've done with ListenUp. What you're saying is ListenUp is allowing you to do continuous discovery without the busy work.
Exactly.
And so, like, right now, operationally, can you walk us through your current like weekly discovery cadence, like the tools, the rituals? What do you do?
Okay, so I'll answer in two parts. First one would be what I actually do, because it's in the context of a startup, bootstrap, and it's very different to like a product team that might be in a scale-up stage or something different like this. And so the first one, what I actually do, best insight for founders and early product team is to use sales call as your research calls. So when you do sales calls, because you have to book, you book demos with your prospects, you're gonna ask a lot of questions about the actual situation. So the problems they have, the use case they have, and also like which solution they've tried. So this should be like embedded in your sales scripts. You should start off every time like this. And then you pitch. Well, there are a lot of ways to do sales, but this way is really good because the first part, like, so almost 50% of each demo call is going to be, or like, it's going to be dedicated to just learning about the people, the person you have in front of you. So, and this is extremely valuable. It's basically research. You can ask like very specific question that you have in the mind, in your mind at this moment into the next sales call, and you can like rotate those. But always ask like the same, also just broad question like, hey, what have you tried so far to solve this problem? What are your biggest problem as of today? What's on the top of your to-do list? And you're really scared to start off this task because you know it's a lot of work. So that kind of signals are very, very, very interesting, and you can use those. So it's like a growth loop in a way. You're doing sales calls, you're learning stuff about your market that sharpen your intuition. You also know what to build on the product, if it's missing or not, or change because it's not you're not serving the right stuff or the right way. And also, in the case like where people are convinced that your product is going to be very valuable for them, you gain a customer. So
True.
It's a growth loop. Like you're, and that's why a lot of also founders advise that you do as one of the founder sales call like for the longest time possible before hiring someone to do it, because you're like in the weeds. That's where you're going to learn everything. You're very close to the market. You get the signal upfront. So yeah, very, very important. And so part two, how I would do it if I were a product team in a scale up, I would use ListenUp, which is my tool. No, yeah, I think it's important to know, to me, like the pragmatic 20% effort, 80% benefit stack as of today is to do this. So have a tool, ListenUp or not, that can capture all the inbound feedback you have. You might not even use a tool, to be honest. If you have like very low volume, you can do it yourself. You can use automation tools like Zapier or N8N. I don't know how to say it in English, but N8N. And so you can use those to build your own workflow. I've seen people do this. It works pretty well. The moment you have a lot of volume and you want to introduce AI in an unbiased way to actually get good insight out of like thousands or hundreds of insights, this is what like tools like ListenUp are bringing a lot of value. But yeah, I would set up this. Or maybe you don't have a lot of inbound feedback. That's okay. You don't have to have it. Maybe you're on a stage in your product where there is not enough, or maybe you're doing only enterprise sales, so inbound feedback kind of inexistent. In that case, you might want to do like what I was talking about, the first layer, which is you already kind of know what you want to do. You just have a lot of hypotheses. I would list those, prioritize which one is the most important. And it's basic user research advice, but hard to do actually. And I would just do interviews on a weekly cadence, if possible, to test out those hypotheses. How to do this? Really hard. I would set up automatic way to do this. So the simplest way I've seen is if you use Intercom or like a related support tool, the bubble in your SaaS product, you can actually open this bubble on command if you want for a very specific user. So you can go on Intercom, filter out exactly the type of user you want to talk to for this specific hypothesis. So let's say the new users would just sign up, or like the poor users, or people you think are probably going to churn in the next few weeks. And then using that, you can just send out a message, if possible, as the name of the founder, if it's someone who's well known, so that you have better reply rates. And just send out like, hey, I'm trying to improve the product. I've seen that you were using it for the past X day. I would love to have 15 minutes of your time. Here is my Calendly link. And with that, you can automate the customer interview with the right people at the right moment, right? So this is really good. The problem is sometimes people will not book any meetings. Depends on the product. Like I've seen some product. I had the chance at Lemlist, for instance, that our users were big fans of the product. So like it was super easy to go talk to them, have them on a call, and ask a question. In some cases, it's really hard. So in that case, I will try incentivize people to actually book a call with you, but I would not use like Amazon cards or that kind of stuff. Like most people, to be honest, they don't really care. What they want, you can do, is to actually offer a discount or like the next month of billing of your product because they are already customer, or if like they are in free trial, well then offer to extend the free trial by 7 days, something like this. And this is really good incentives because you're giving like stuff people actually care about because they're already using your product, right? So yeah, this is to me the right way to do it. Surveys, form, they can be useful, but I feel like not as much as we think. It's just people tend to do a lot of them because it's easy, right? You write a question, you shoot out your survey, and you expect answer. The problem is with surveys, you're going to get a lot of answers, but they're not actually useful answers because they lack context and you want to follow up. That happens all the time. Like someone says something and you're like, I can't use this information. I need to dig in. So you have to reach out to this person and do a user interview. You've wasted your time. So I don't say it's a bad tool. It is a good tool, but not as much as we think. And also I would just set up product analytics. I think it's also like observation is one of the best user research tools because it's unbiased
Yeah.
by nature, right? You're seeing what people do.
Of course.
And judge people by their action, not what they say. So yeah, it's really good too. So I would set up like something like June, Mixpanel, or Amplitude, like a tool, or PostHug, just to record all the events of what people are doing, especially session recording if you can. So you actually see how they use the product.
Yeah.
So first, it's really useful to find like usability issues within your product. But second, you actually see what people are using or not. And the most important thing to me also is that you can filter out cohorts of people who use like a very specific feature or who didn't use a specific feature you launch, and you expect them to use it. And then you export this list as a CSV. Same, you can reach out by email and do like user interview. So when you start to use every data point you have, so quantitative with the analytics and observation, qualitative with user interview, and somewhat in the middle with inbound feedback. It's like qualitative, but also you might want to use it as a like you want to know the volumes, right?
Yeah.
And the how you say in English, like the curve over time, right?
Yeah,
tendency.
exactly.
So yeah,
Trends,
that's my advice.
let's say. Yeah.
Trends,
But the fact of having the tool itself, isn't it an enabler of sorts, allowing you, because I feel that some people would want to do some more discovery work, but there's some aspects that they don't like doing, they're not good at doing.
Yes.
So for example, on my side, I think that AI has definitely enabled me to do more recordings and actual sessions talking with customers. And then the whole side about the insights, this is something that, was so time consuming that I didn't take the time to do it. But AI is currently definitely enabling me to do more of that. So having the tool, isn't that a way also to drive people to go out and speak more to customers?
Yes. Yeah, I agree. To me, it's very, like forcing people to do something never works in a way. Well, at least in business, or like when you have a tool. So you have to accept that you sometimes have to find your own ways to make some people do something. Mm-hmm. So if it's to use AI and completely automate the process and not do any work, I mean, why not? Right? So yeah. Like people say, no, the tool is not important. You have to do this. There is some truth in that, but there is also some truth in a tool that actually enable you to do something you would not do because you don't have the time or the energy for it, or you don't like doing it, but you have to. So having a tool that can do this for you, actually really nice. So yeah, use it.
And so one thing that I've been really excited about discussing. So AI is moving pretty quickly. Is product management going to die because of AI?
Wow. So the question we see on LinkedIn every day.
Yeah, pretty much.
So it's hard to do. Like a lot of people try the exercise of trying to guess what's gonna happen in the future. I think it's really hard, almost impossible. But I'll try. What I think as of today, when you look at AI, it's really hard to see, and even myself, like this is really hard to see the difference between objectively what are good use case for AI as of today, and it works really well or pretty well, and what are the use cases where it doesn't work that well. And it's hard to know this because as of today, people are hyping AI all the time on LinkedIn, on Twitter, like everything you see about AI is like, it's going to change the world, which is true in a way. But I don't know if you've tried some use cases with AI tool, but sometimes like you can feel it's just mimicking human.
And it's not
writing.
natural.
It's not natural. It's not really thinking. And so, keep that in mind. So what I've seen is that our product manager are going to be replaced for AI. I don't really believe at this stage, no. But it's going to be really assisted, yes, like any job. So you look at AI for coding, really good as of today. Like it's one of the use cases they want to push forward as much as possible, because I've seen that on the use cases of ChatGPT. I don't remember, but I've seen a graph like showing the most common use cases for ChatGPT. Coding was one of the top. So they're really investing in that. At coding, I've used it a lot. any kind of tool, so Cursor, VS Code Copilot, ChatGPT directly. I tend to even use ChatGPT directly as of today and just give good snippets so that I can really work my prompt to be as refined as possible, because I somewhat know how large language model works.
Yeah.
And it's really easy to bias them. So yeah,
true.
And the context windows, even though they say it's big, it's not like even. So it's gonna focus on some part more than other. So you have to keep that in mind. That's why, like, if you can have small prompts, just snippet of code, very clear question, one question. Don't try to ask all your question in one prompt. You get the best result, in my opinion. So yeah, AI for coding, kind of good. Like, really, it speeds up the process. But the moment we can even bootstrap process, we've seen it with Lovable, like quite a success. But the moment
they just reached. They just raised what, 200 million or something like that.
Yeah. I've seen it on
pretty crazy.
LinkedIn. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. But if you try Lovable, I've tried it. I've used it a lot in the past few weeks. It's really good to bootstrap new project. Like, there is a magic effect. You can't say it's not incredible. Like,
of course,
whole website for you, internal tools. But the moment you want something bigger than that, it's not possible. Like, it doesn't work. Like, it's gonna do crazy stuff in your code base. It cannot have like the whole context of your app, because there is too much code to do something according to your architecture or something like this. Even VS Code Copilots, as of today, it's really good. Like, they have the agent mode. It's actually really good. But same, like, the moment you have a big code base and you ask for something that's coupled with a lot of components in your architecture, it starts to fall off. Like, you have to
so
check everything.
Scaling is always going to be the problem. Far.
Yeah, and by limitation of how large language model works. So that's just how it is. So I think, like, that's why Lovable, you see most common use case, it's small internal apps, website, just landing pages. And when they do apps, like B2B apps, it's mini tool. And you can see that on the landing page. When you go on there is the community section when they show you all the community created Lovable websites. If I refer to the tabs they show in order, which I guess they somewhat want to put like the most popular first.
Of course.
You see, like, internal tools is the first one, and B2B SaaS is one of the last one. So they know, like, for the B2B SaaS product, if you actually want to build a product with it, it's not the right tool. It doesn't work. So if you have a very small tool, yes, okay, very small cup, well defined, and it's still very powerful, because at the end you get code. So if you want to scale it up, you can always, like, find a co-founder or hire an engineer to work on the code base.
Take it back and
you already have a good base. You've tested out what you wanted to test with this Lovable prototype. So it's actually very, very good. For product manager, like, I think you can skip a lot of the design phase as of today, because you can build like a prototype directly, and I use it a lot. I've seen people using it a lot, and it's scary. And even Figma, they've realized this, because they've started to work on Figma Make. Because they know, like, there is a danger there. Because I've built like a prototype with Lovable, and you can actually send this out to customer to try it off. So it's interactive. It's like the real app in a way. I mean, that's much better to actually put something on, test out something, or like make people realize what are your design decision compared to a Figma file. Let's be honest. That's just the way it is. So yeah, very powerful for that. And I know they want to do like design system integration in Lovable, so they know like there is something
they're already planning the switch.
It's important. So yeah, AI. Sorry, I've drifted. AI for product manager. No, I don't think they're gonna replace product manager, especially since it's like a job where you have to do a lot of politics and communication across departments. So it's not gonna replace that. Let's be honest. Assisted, yes. You can write PRDs with ChatGPT. You just like one use case I love for ChatGPT. It's actually really good at this. Like, I just shoot out of all my draft notes.
Yeah,
like completely unstructured and stuff, and I just ask him like to clean it up and structure everything, and it just works. Then you have to remove all the middle.
all the fillers and everything. I gotcha.
Because but it's actually really good. So you can speed up the process of writing PRD, user stories, Synthesizing research, also good use case. Writing research question based on what you want to learn. So for those use cases, it's really good. It just speed up the process. So it's enhancing your work. It's supporting you. It's not replacing you. And yeah.
So yeah, this is one thing that I'm actually curious about for, so I have a 3-year-old, and this is one thing that I'm wondering, how will AI, like you're saying it'll speed things up. What should you let the LLM do, and what should you let the PM do? Because my worry is that later on, our children, I wouldn't say won't be able to think by themselves, but like having this ability to speed things up is different than having the ideas and sort of like structuring your prompt, being able to ask the right question. So what do you let the LLM do, and what do you let the PM do?
Okay. That's a deep subject also, just because I think it's important in your life to have some resistance. Not everything has to be automated, super easy. Like it would be meaningless, right? So good example, you actually have to always think in your life, like, and have to take hard decisions and hard calls. This is important, like for us.
Yeah.
So well, that's another subject. But on your question, I think as of today, you kind of always have to be check out, verifying every output AI gives you for a given use case. So I think it's important because you have a lot of hallucination. It's non-deterministic. So if you use it for deterministic task, like it's gonna make mistake. Let's be honest. That's just how it works. So this is important. And so yes, for every output AI gives you, you have to check. And we have the first. Like I built an AI tool.
Yeah.
Like the value proposition is AI is going to find, extract, clean up insight for you. It's going to give you the trends. And it does the work for you. But still, I say to every customer we have, like, you have to double check everything we give you. It's just like, I don't know, you say in English, but in French we have an expression like mâcher le travail. C'est...
Yeah, it'll build everything for you, but it'll just speed things up.
Yes. Well, we will put the
we'll put the I don't have the exact translation right now
on the screen, but that's the use case for me. Like actually it's starting the work for you, and then it hands off it to you, and you are the one who say, hey, okay, I'm verifying if it's correct or not. Is it useful? Is it not? But at least it speed up the process, or it give you a starting point. Mm-hmm. Like one of the best things ChatGPT does to me, it completely remove the blank page
space,
effect, right?
Yeah.
Like you don't know where to start. Like, hey, it gives you a starting point at least, or multiple ones if you ask it that way. So yeah.
Understood. And what is there one feature where AI sort of looked magical in a demo, but when you put it in prod, it disappointed?
For ListenUp?
Or it could be something else.
Yeah.
Where we thought, there was a lot of hype around it, and then when actually using it.
Okay, in general, yeah. Well, building B2B SaaS app or like complex app with Lovable or Bolt or V0, like actually try it, you'll see. The moment the customer asks like for very specific features, like for instance, they want roles and permission within the product, or they want try to build like a CRM really complex with all the security and enterprise feature that might be required by customer with one of those tools. As of today, you might get something that somewhat works, but it's not perfect. You're not there yet. You would be scared.
So maybe communication between code bases might be more complicated than having your own code base, is what you're saying? Or within, like, if the code gets more complex because it's talking to...
Yes, the moment it gets
bricks.
complex and big, it's the moment like large language model is gonna having a hard time giving you actually good code and good suggestion.
And so how far do you think we are from actually reaching this? Because it's evolving at a certain pace where...
Yes.
I mean, you're building with AI, and for the past year, I've seen you like take big steps as well. So how far do you think we are to dealing with these complicated problems?
That's a good question. That I don't want to answer because I really don't know. But this is the interesting question. It's when it's going to happen. It's when. Is it in the next few months? I would not bet on it. But again, like prove me wrong.
Who knows?
But will it be in the next 2 or 3 years? Maybe. Maybe it's gonna get gradually better, or maybe it's gonna get really better at like one specific point, because they've changed how large language model actually work. Because it's an inherited limitation of how they work, right? It stems from that. So this is why this is a really hard problem to solve, and no one has really figured out a way to do it correctly. So will the next big step in AI not be large language model? I'd say probably. Like they prove a lot of people wrong. Like a lot of people didn't really think a large language model was a right solution, but they prove everyone wrong with that. But now we're seeing like the ceiling of it, the limitation.
Yeah.
We might be able to get a few % out, I think, but until we have a really a big breakthrough in the technology itself, it's not going to get really, really better.
And we've talked about connecting things together. You started teasing a new AI-powered project just before in the past few days. So what are you launching, and what problem is it solving, and why now?
Yeah, okay. So funny thing, we're in the middle of the AI hype cycle, yet it's not an AI product. It's actually not. So it can be, but it's not the main value prop.
Yeah, true.
And so basically, I was at a cafe with my co-founder Thomas one day, and we were just working, and I don't know why, but I went to the bathroom, and in the bathroom I was washing my hand, and I just had this spark of an idea, like in the movies. I didn't believe in this, but I had like a spark of what if we do that? And I don't know why, it got me too curious, and I had to check online, and I found out like no one was really doing it. So basically, because I haven't explained, you see a lot of no-code tools, right?
Yeah.
So there is Bubble and all the other one. I don't even know that much of the other ones. Well, I don't remember the names. I've tried a few of them. And then you have tools like Retool, which is another category. Mm-hmm. And when you check them, Retool is really interesting. It's a very, very interesting tool, because what they do is internal tools. And the unique insight they have was that most of the software in the world is actually internal. It's not something like out as a SaaS. Really interesting. And they wanted to have the tool to support this, because it's really hard to build an internal tool. It's costly, it's hard. And so they've built a whole product around this, which is even more interesting. Is one of their RCP is actually developers. So they're building a no-code tool for developers.
Yeah.
And it works. Like, they love it, which is super interesting. When you actually use the product, it's no code, but it's basically low code, because you still have to do some code logic in it. But it's very interesting. And it's good. Like now you have internal tools. Okay, this is one observation. The second one is SaaS products, off-the-shelf products are really good. We use it every day, right? But everyone has very specific needs and process. And you're always looking for the best match when you're using or you're buying a new product. You're looking for the best match, and sometimes 80% of your specific needs are going to be fulfilled by the tool. But there is also always this 10 to 20% that wiggles out, and you have to forget about. That's life, right? And so to me, this is where like there is an opportunity, and I'm building a tool around this. So I don't want you to build internal tools. I want you to build missing feature on existing website you already use. This is the value prop. So I want to fill this gap between your very specific processes and needs that any off-the-shelf SaaS tool will not do.
This is going a step further than so Zapier, N8N. They had they connected the tools, and you're trying to build like the missing features within
the tool.
Within
exactly.
The tool that you're already using.
And it's also like a product insight. All product people know this. Like moving someone from a tool they already use, to a new tool, it's really, really hard. It's really hard.
Yeah.
So when you are where people are already are, it's really good. Like at least for the user, the end user, they want to keep their own workflow, but they want things to be improved, basically in a perfect world.
Yeah.
So we would be that layer, because you would be able to add UI directly on the app and website you use. So let's say you use Zendesk. You have a very specific process around Zendesk. With Auto, you would be able to add a button directly in the Zendesk UI.
Yeah.
At the exact place you want it to be. And on click in no code, you would define what happened when you click on this button, and this would be connected to Zapier, NA8, everything. So you have access to all your apps, and you can also display stuff. Like when you check a UI, it's mostly like trigger action, display stuff. So we would give you those two Lego virtual blocks that you can drag and drop on any website. And then with no code automation workflows, you can set up your own business logic using the page context. So I'm on the lead page for Cédric on HubSpot. I want to do a very specific action when I click a button that I inject on HubSpot about Cédric. So we would allow this kind of workflow, which is kind of really powerful. That's it.
Okay, that's awesome.
It's called SparkUp. No landing page yet, but probably soon.
I'll be happy to check it out.
Yeah.
And how does that complement or cannibalize ListenUp?
Very good question. So focus, big subject, and I had like a lot of issues with focus, but for ListenUp actually we're quite focused for like the past 2 years.
2 years, I think.
Yeah, something like this. And we were pretty focused, which was good. And we also gain even more focus by just being a Notion plugin. And this also relates to what I just said. Yeah, we are like where people already are, Notion. So this is first really good. And second, we actually have more time because the scope was reduced. It's still like a very, very big tool and time consuming. But also, we just wanted to try out the sites because we were too excited. So we decided to launch a second product, which is SparkUp. And it's more of a side project for now, but we want to try it out because we're too excited to see the actual possibilities with it. We actually want to use it ourselves first. And see which capabilities I can add to the tools I use every day. And I'm frustrated because I know that the product team of this tool will never implement something like this. It's too specific. Or they just don't want to. It's against their strategy or whatever. For instance, LinkedIn. They won't want you to export stuff out of LinkedIn. Well, there are like how many tools that allow you to get emails from someone on LinkedIn and
I've used
stuff like
Walaxy
this.
not too long ago that you know you can just export everything onto the platform.
Exactly.
So
that's a good example. And so it's a big bet. I think the balance is hard to find between really being persistent and focused, which is very good. And a lot of people have a very hard time doing this for a long time. When it gets really boring, you still have to do it. I would say we're pretty good at this, to be honest, which is good. But also you don't want to be like, I don't know if that's something you can say in English.
Stubborn?
But stubborn person that doesn't change. Like you have to adapt. You have to be directionally good. You have to adapt. And sometimes you have to shift a bit more. But I feel like on a 2-year time span, it's actually correct. And also I've seen a lot of people who just break the rules and were unfocused, Lemlist, and it worked out really well. And
sometimes the stars align, as you said.
Yes.
It's not just that.
HelpKit, it's a Notion tool very similar to us, but for support team to do like help center directly in Notion. I've talked to the founder, Dominic, it was last week, and we had this discussion. He also started a side project. HelpKit was working super well. He still decided to launch a side project, Redrich, and he's super happy to have done this because now we have 2 projects and he has the flexibility, if you want, one day to sell one off or just to kill it. You abandon the project, it was just for fun. And also when we discussed this, one really counterintuitive thing about launching a side project at this stage, after a long boring period of focus.
Yeah.
Is that you can regain some energy for the initial project, some excitement, because for some reason you're going to work on a side project. This is going to be satisfying or not. Maybe you're like, no, I don't like this project at all. And you realize the value of the initial one, or just by working on something different and going back to something, it forces you to take a step back, right? And this is good because at the end, even if you sell off the second project or you just abandon it, when you're going to work on the initial one, you're going to be like super excited again. So you regain some initial motivation, which is good. It's a good boost.
Sort of like balancing your motivation levels, because sometimes it gets boring on one side. So having something that's pretty exciting can sort of balance and, you know, do the deep, boring work on one side, and on the other side get some motivation by working on a side project.
Exactly. So it's really hard to say one rule, which is like be persistent and focus. I would say it's like number one, but there is a but. You can also just like, if you don't want to, well, you check like every successful product or founder, they all have their own path in a way. You can see some similarities, but not that much. So those rules are helpful, I think, for most people. Try them, see if they work for you. But if they don't, like, be okay with trying to break it and see which outcome you will get or not. Like, experiment.
There's so we've talked about speed. We've talked about AI and the way that the product role is changing. One thing that defines you as well is that you have a really solid understanding of development. You started out that way, and you design, you code, and of course PM. So how does that, let's say, compress feedback loops as well? Because you do have a co-founder, but you guys are like, you know, one or two man armies, I'd say. So how does that, you know, how is that a good thing for you, and how do you leverage that?
Very valuable. I'm a big fan of hybrid roles. So product engineer or like design engineer, that kind of hybrid role. I think it's very valuable. I'm not saying everyone should be it, like it's really hard. It's two different skill sets that both are very deep. And you're going to probably not be the best at both, like just going to be quite good at both. Yeah. That's already very valuable because, as you said, feedback loop, I mean, it doesn't exist. It's like instant. You're doing both at the same time. That's the first thing. Like you can go really fast. When you are good at both things, you can go very fast.
Yeah.
And also, I think this is the most important and valuable thing, is that you get unique perspective because you're like on both sides. So you see stuff that people don't see. I'm going to give you an example for SparkUp, the project I've mentioned to build missing features on top of any website. Well, I know in some way I had this idea and this insight because I've built Chrome extension. I know how they work. And also I know like what's possible design-wise and product-wise because I'm just actively...
You understand the mechanics of what happens.
And so there is a match. I've seen it. And I'm probably sure if I was not able to build Chrome extension by myself and I haven't would do it, I would never have this idea or like realize the opportunity. Never, probably sure. So yeah, there are a lot of unique perspectives you start to get. And you can see it, like you check at Vercel. Mm-hmm. So they have a lot of design engineer. And you can see like a lot of them are active on Twitter, well, X. You can check, like it's actually, they do crazy stuff. It's really interesting. And stuff like a designer with no engineering skill would never do or like think of, or be able to show it off. Like you really do unique stuff. So I'm a big believer in this. Yeah.
And so on the opposite side, when should a PM not touch the code?
Well, also this is a hot take. I think design and product should probably be if you had to choose one hybrid role that would like be quite dominant in a lot of product team, I'd say design and product. The reason is in most companies you see like product, your responsibility is to drive the decision and manage the whole life cycle of the products.
Yeah.
Ensure communication lies between with the rest of the company, and understand customer and user. you check the same for designer. Is build the right stuff, make sure it's usable, and understand your users perfectly well. So there is an overlap, like 1/3 of each job responsibility. I'm simplifying, obviously it's different in every company, but there is a big overlap. And if you check, this is causing a lot of issues in a lot of product teams. I've seen it so many times, designers being frustrated because product manager like step on their toes basically, or the other way around. And so I'd say what you see is either like design is going to own the whole research part of the job, product is not. Or like product is going to own it and design is not. And this is happening very frequently in designer. Obviously, it's super frustrating because then you're just like design monkey, right? You're just doing Figma design. You never like actively trying to understand your users. So yeah, I'm a big believer in this. That would solve a lot of issues, I think, and that would speed up the process, and that would make everything easier. Even like the responsibility from someone who is outside of product team who don't really know how they work, this would be super easy. Like I point to you the product designer, hybrid product and design, and that's like this is the person who actually design, build the features, and understand the user. And I would point then the engineer in the same product squad and say, this is the person who actually built it. Yeah. Like it's crystal clear. Whereas as of today, for someone who doesn't know about product design and engineering, it's hard like to say, okay, this is the person who decide what we build and also understand the user. This one, well, it's the same, but it's not the same job and they do more stuff. So yeah, this is hot take, but I think they should probably merge a bit more, I'd say.
Well, it's again like everyone has specific skills, and it's also hard to find. On one side, certain people have this skill of understanding the how you make it, like the what experience are you going to give, and others are particularly skilled at understanding the user's issues, bridging that gap. I think AI will sort of bridge that gap, like if you're really good with users, then do that and have AI suggest how the experience should look like when you don't have this. And on the other side, AI might want to say, hey, by the way, the data says this, so you have a really nice experience, but you have to focus on also this data. I think it's a little harder, but I think that's a possibility as well.
Well, you want a good comparison is like product team where the software engineers work ticket by ticket. So they don't own like a whole feature. Well, what you see is oftentimes like the outputs they're going to give out of this system is not as good as the one where like an engineer owns the whole feature to like implement. And to me, it's just pushing this reflection to the whole product team. The one who design the actual feature, for instance, should also be the one who would discuss with the users because you're owning the whole responsibility of figuring out what's the most valuable thing we can do for them. So this is all what I think. And I think in most company how it end up is just we remove, it has to be clear at least. And that means also making a choice, which I think a lot of people don't want to do, but saying, okay, design, your responsibility stop exactly here. Product, your responsibility stop exactly. The moment you say there is some overlap, you're going to figure it out. I think it's the moment like, this is not going to work. And also like when you look at founder advices for like startups, pre-product market fit, is be the same person who sell and build if possible, be as close to selling and building as possible, because it's the same reflection. Like you're owning the whole stuff, you're starting to have unique perspective because you're doing both, and so you want to scale this, like when the company scales. So Okay,
well, let's just take a step back. I just wanted to talk very quickly about the French ecosystem because it's also one of the goals of the podcast to sort of have French product get a voice out there. You've been accelerated by Station F, and it's right across the street, right there,
right behind us.
How has that accelerated or complicated your life? Like, what did you think about it?
Okay. So honest opinion. Station F,
Always.
really good. It's good that a place like this exists first. It's really good because it's just a place where like you have a lot of lookalike people with the same interest and goal. And this is interesting when you're one of this person to be around this. Environment is very important in life. And so you're like in the right environment in a way. So this is super good. Also the place itself looks pretty sick. Like it's a whole train station and it's super nice on the photos. Like you just want to be there when you see some photos. So this is really cool to have this hub in Paris, in France. And yeah, I've been part of it. We've been there for 3 months. We did the founder program, and that give us multiple things. First, offices. We are Bootstrap.
And nice ones.
Yeah, a nice one. And so we had offices, and this is nice. Second one, environment. Obviously, it's just motivating. It's even some competition, friendly one. And so you just want to push yourself a bit harder. And also like networking. You meet a lot of ecosystem, which is the main value of places like Station F, which is nice. Also, like in the program we did, at least, the people, they just brought to speak up to us, and we could ask a question on very specific subjects, so sales, product, raising money. Well, I was not interesting in this one, but they were very, very interesting, like very insightful. So that was really good. But also, not everything was perfect. For instance, there were not enough like calling boxes to do your calls with customer, and it was annoying every time I was with my computer walking around and looking for something. And a guy next to me was in the exact same situation. He has his meeting in 2 minutes, and so then it was like the first person who find the
great
the phone
space.
boxes. So it was like war. I know that they changed this. Like right now, I've heard that they added a lot of boxes, which is good. I hope now it's enough. But second one, well, we end up with our competitors like right in front of us, 2 tables away.
Okay.
So that was surprising. Weird choice. And so that also killed off the vibe a bit for us, because before that, with every founder around, we were like completely transparent, super honest. Everyone was discussing their challenges, problem, success in a very no-filter way, which was super nice. And the moment you have your competitors in those groups of discussion,
there's
it's
some things
different,
you can't say.
right? You can't be as transparent as you would like. So that was the only bite point. We could have stayed there. It's just that also, I think we were very easy to get distracted. So if someone is planning to go in a place like this, be relentless with your time and focus, because it's super easy to get distracted and to go to all events and drinks and pizza at lunch and
have chats.
It's nice. Feels like vacation almost. And you see, there are a lot of people in there that just like, it seems like it's a vacation. They don't actually work that much on their company, right? So you have to be mindful of this.
But pretty good experience.
Pretty good experience.
Okay.
I would recommend if you lack this environment in your life and you're actively looking for it, some support in that sense, I would try it. At least try. Yeah.
Okay. To wrap things up, I have a couple rapid fire questions. So I'm going to be asking you these questions. What's one tool you can't live without?
Notion. Like many people know, I'm going to try to be a bit more unique, but paper and a pen still.
I do that. I got back to that as well.
Same.
No, it's pretty nice.
It's very nice it's different to write it's rapid questions. So.
Okay, so one underrated French product leader.
That one is hard. Mean. You. No. One underrated product leader. I don't really. There might be one, but I don't know him. I feel the good ones are already put under the light, which is good.
Oh, that's a good thing. So one book every PM should read or reread.
I really like Coffee with Kale. I think that's the name of the book. It's about jobs to be done.
Okay.
And I think it's really good. Yeah.
Okay. I'll definitely put that in the links as well. What's the hardest thing that GPT-4 or 5 can't do for a PM?
Depends on the release date of this podcast.
Depends on the release date. So what's the hardest thing that GPT-4 or 5 can't do for a PM yet?
Yeah, replace politics.
Oh, that's true. What's the biggest PM job that will not exist in 5 years? I know you don't like to talk about the future, but
that one is hard.
You can see it coming.
Probably if you already start to see it, but writing user stories or stuff like this, probably, or like summarizing research, those kind of small tasks that just annoying. It's simple, it's repetitive. Those tasks, they can get quite automated.
Okay. One AI buzzword that you would ban for a month.
Agents, okay.
That's a current one. And last one habit that has 2x to your productivity last year.
Good one. I've tried a lot of stuff. Best one, focus.
Yeah.
Less stuff to do. You can go more deeply. You can spend more time on those stuff. It's really hard to do. But if you could have only 3 things to do, and this goes above professional work. This is your whole life. You have 24 hours a day. How do you use them, basically? So the less stuff you have to think about and worry about or do, the better. If you only were building your company, let's say you don't even sleep, you don't even eat, you don't have family, you don't have friends. Well, that would be bad, but you can really make some progress on the first one. I'm extrapolating, but obviously. But yeah, the second one would be, just have a good routine. This is basic advice, but sleep good, do workouts, eat well, take magnesium, really, really good to sleep. Omega-3, I'd say nutrition. This is, And also, try to, this is part of the focus advice, but just shape your environment. It's something that's incentive you to work on your goals and not something that's against you. So if that means not being friends with friends that drag you in bad stuff, probably should not be friends with them. If that's just removing a lot of distraction around you, so phones, everything that could be distraction in your life, do it. Too many tools. The problem is too many context switching, too many distraction, too many ways to just be lost in it and wonder, I don't know where. So focus. Perfect.
Thank you so much for all the insight that you've given. Where can people follow you?
LinkedIn is the best. So Robin LBT, I think this is how I'm called on LinkedIn.
I'll put in the links as well.
Yeah, that's the best.
All right. Thank you so much.
Cédric.
Merci for listening. And don't forget, great products start with bold ideas. Subscribe, leave a comment, share it with your fellow product minds. I'll be super happy to respond. So leave a feedback. À bientôt.